If you learn to shut off your emotions because you didn't want to be a burden to other people, you learn something called adaptive survival. This is whenever your inner child, your inner teenager, your young adult decided it was easier to keep things to yourself and pretend like you don't have any feelings than to bring it up and disturb somebody else. And over time of suppressing your feelings, your emotions, your needs, your desires, the fact that you want a hug and you want to be acknowledged, your brain started to create a story. And the story says, I don't need you. I can do it myself. I'm strong. I'm independent. I'll figure it out. I don't have emotions. I don't need these weak things holding me back. I'm just going to power through it. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to go, and then I'm going to get it done. Even if this narrative has supported and helped you, over time, this makes you have a couple of different problems. Your brain starts to create a reason for why what you did is justified because it was adaptive. You made up this reason for why you didn't want to burden anybody, and then you stuck to it. This helped you survive. But deep down inside, you as a human being want to express. You want help. You want support. You want community. You want to be guided. You want that hug. You want somebody to say good job and acknowledge the way that you feel. Now in adulthood, this adaptive survival makes you unable to interpret your actual emotions. So now that you're starting to feel things and you have relationships and you have companions and you have friends and you have interactions with other people and you have other needs in your adulthood, you almost don't know how to communicate that because you spent so long ignoring the fact that you had emotions. Your body almost doesn't know how to feel the emotion. It's suppressed. So every time you felt anger, you said, nope, I don't feel it. It doesn't matter to me. Every time you felt sadness, you're like, nope, how are they going to make me sad? I don't even care. And every time you felt joy or happiness, it's like, whatever, I don't really care. You kind of just played it off nonchalantly, but now you're in this place where you're like, I actually want to be able to feel these emotions because somehow it's not really supporting me in the things that I want to be doing and experiencing in my life right now. You start to misread your emotional cues. You start to misread your body cues, the way that your body is talking to you. And overall, with this dysregulated nervous system, you're also experiencing emotional dysregulation. This shows up as an inability to communicate or express what it is that you actually want. Deflecting or bypassing, belittling issues because you just want to pretend like it doesn't matter to you. Acting like you don't feel anything. You might also weaponize other people's feelings. So whenever they feel something, you kind of gaslight them and you make them feel like they're overreacting, they're sensitive, they don't know what they're talking about, they're too dependent, they're something else. So you weaponize other people's emotions. You experience anxiety, depression, perhaps substance abuse, and maybe even violence towards yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, socially, or violence towards other people. You can let me know in the comments if you feel any of these. But when you address why and how your nervous system went into this dysregulated state that's causing you to have emotional dysregulation, you can start to reprogram this from the inside out. My formula for this is IDF. Identify, de-shame, and to flow. The first part is to identify the fact that you're even experiencing an emotional dysregulation. And for you, it might just be the fact that you're watching or listening to this conversation and you're like, do I have emotional dysregulation? I've been feeling kind of off. I've been trying to get in touch with my emotion. Perhaps that's where you started. Or maybe you're looking at this from the lens of your clients. You notice that your clients have incredibly dysregulated nervous systems that show up as emotional dysregulation. And now you're saying, okay, what are some of the symptoms and what is it that we can do? So you're beginning to identify that something is not working. Then you start to inquire just a little bit further. As you identify, you keep asking questions around like, yes, this isn't working, but what about it isn't working? What is happening at the core of this that is making me not really feel in tune and in touch with my emotions? The next part is that you're probably going to discover something that feels really shameful. You're going to say like, wow, I realized that I'm so disconnected from my emotions because my family does not know how to express or experience emotion. And there might be so much shame around your parents or shame around your caretakers or shame around whoever it is that you feel that shame from. You might experience a little bit of guilt or anger, some kind of emotion that comes up towards whatever it is that you identified. So the second step is to de-shame that process, is that whatever happened already happened and you can't go undo the things that already happened in the past, but you can determine how it is that you can move forward from what already took place. So de-shaming reframing your experience is to say that little child that learned adaptive survival is not guilty, should not be ashamed, should not be hiding, should not be suppressed. That little child does get to express. That little child does get to heal. That little child does get to feel all the things that you want to feel as this adult. But maybe you're feeling that emotional dysregulation from that suppression of that little child. You start to de-shame. You experienced something and it's okay that you experienced it. It's okay to feel the shame. It's okay to feel the guilt. It's okay to feel the frustration, the anger, and all the different emotions that come up with it. And that's kind of good news, isn't it? Because you're saying, how do I feel my emotions? And now here's a way that you're starting to feel an emotion that you might not necessarily have allowed in. Shame is not something we're like aiming to feel. We're not, we want to feel happiness and joy and freedom and all these different high vibe emotions. But anytime shame comes upon us, we feel like there's this heaviness to that. So the second part is to de-shame whatever it is that you're experiencing and the emotions that are showing up. The last part of it is to flow, not force this transformation. If you're forcing it and you think like, okay, I identified it, I'm all done, I'm good to go, it's not going to last, it's not going to stick. Now you start to say, how is it that I kind of flow through this? And flow is just like water. There's ebbs and flow, right? Like there's up and down. It's a wave, it's a current. So you might experience moments of highs, you might experience moments of lows, and it's a circular path, this IDF. It's that you might have to identify something different. Then you have to de-shame that next thing, and then you have to go ahead and allow that to flow through. Because the truth of it all is that emotions are energy in emotion. They don't have a negative or a positive charge. They mean whatever it is that we assign it to. So if we have an emotion that feels negative, we have to sit with that. We let it flow. It does not want to sit in your body. It wants to move through. Literally, that's the beginning of regulating your nervous system and regulating your emotions as well. I hope this conversation helped you. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and remember, the world is your playground. And until next time, I will catch you soon.